Good morning, everyone. It's Crisandro, of course, and well, what a weekend that was, wasn't it? Um, oh. The one thing I was thinking as I left the stadium, I was heading towards the coach and horses, was that I just didn't think anything. I was kind of like numb to the whole. It's hard to describe. I mean, first things first. I mean, we'll talk about the men's game first because obviously that's the big dominating aspect, I guess, for many other fans. The performance was not as bad as the Southampton one. I guess that's a plus. Is that a positive? I have no idea. I mean, against Southampton, I know we scored 2 goals, but we were dominated for 90 minutes. Literally were. I know we took the lead twice in that game, but all of that was against the run of play. Against Wolves, I mean, they had a bit of the ball, Wolves, but the game was essentially done 20 minutes into the match, really, wasn't it? Well, 20 minutes. Well, technically it was. Um, and if you think back to that game, this is what I was kind of like mulling over in my head as I was heading to the pub. If you think back to the game, Wolves didn't really create any kind of big chances that, you know, that we say, oh my god, we're lucky we only came out of that 2-0. Their 2 goals were gifted to them. Literally gifted to them. I mean, and I said so in the Aftermath show that I just couldn't believe it, really. And the normally reliable Hugo Lloris, captain of the team, he had a nightmare. And I know there's a lot of people trying to apportion the blame to other people, trying to like spread it, but it was Lloris's fault. He is the last guy there. Yeah, the initial. Let's talk about the first goal. The initial error was defensive, you could say, but then it was compounded by a very strange save by Lloris, who could quite easily have caught the ball, quite easily. There's an argument that the ball was slippery, but he'll deal with that, and then we just kind of say, okay, it slipped out of his hands, wasn't his fault. But he tried to parry it away in such a weird fashion. The ball then comes back in, and I think because of the initial shock of the parry, that's kind of weirded out the defenders in a way. The ball comes back in, and then instead of catching it up in the air, he could easily leap up, catch it. He then tries to punch it away again. It was another weak punch. He put his defence under a lot of pressure. That's what I'm saying. Put the defence under a lot of pressure, and then it comes back to Jimenez, who then just volleys into the net. That goal need not have happened. It didn't. And then if you think that was bad, then the second one was even worse because Lloris, and I know a lot of people try to put blame on Davis here. A lot, I mean, and the only way I can really understand that they try to put blame on Davis is because they don't like Davis that much, and any little way they can apportion blame onto him for everything, they will, and that's literally what it is. That's my honest opinion there. He plays an awful pass to Davis, an awful pass. I was literally almost going out for a corner. Davis had to rescue it, and at the time he turned around, he was being closed down. He had to try and get rid of the ball, and he did, and obviously didn't get rid of it very far. And it went straight to a Wolves forward who then played it in, and then Donker then just lashes it in. But that is fully Lloris's fault. You can try and apportion all the blame to Davis if you want, but the ball to Davis was horrible, and there was no pressure on Lloris at all. A straight pass to Davis, and he could easily have either played it long towards who was on the left at the time. There could have played it long towards Cessignon, who was in space, or he could have played it inside to Romero, I think, who was in space as well. He didn't have the option because he had to rescue the ball first from going out for a corner, and then he had to turn around and you saw he was being closed down. That's not Davis's fault. And then um, from then on, it was just kind of a case of trying to get back into it, and it was impossible at that point because Wolves, they weren't quite as dangerous as they were in that first game. Remember at Molineux where we won 1-0 with a Dele penalty. They weren't quite as dangerous as that, and that but they pressed us well enough, and Cessignon played very well. I thought down the left, although again people trying to apportion blame onto him as well. I thought he played all right. I mean, tackled, was aggressive in the tackles, tried to get forward plenty of times, was in space a lot, and he didn't misplay so many balls. I don't think, not that I remember, and played very well. He was unlucky to be hooked off after 28 minutes, and I have to say that the cheers that went up, I'm not quite sure if the cheers were for Kulusevski coming on or for Sessegnon going off. But if they were for Sessegnon going off, that was horrible. But that lad didn't deserve it. He didn't. He was pretty. I mean, out of a team of 11 that weren't playing that well, really, he was playing okay. He was, as far as I could see. I mean, midfield, the midfield was not clicking as well. I mean, Bentancur was playing he was starting his first match. I thought he played all right. Winks alongside him. I mean, dilly-dallied on the ball a lot and gave away possession, but passing wasn't up to scratch. Sonny up front, he had a chance to pull one back before half-time and played through. Usually Sonny is as two-footed as they come, and if he's on his right foot, he would literally just show the player out, dummy them, and then have a shot. This time he slowed it down, tried to come inside on his left, and I thought, wow, that is a sign of a player who's short on confidence, really is. And you can't legislate for that at all, you can't. And Kane played okay, but even his passing was going a bit wayward, but he was coming deep a lot, so there was literally hardly anyone around. And Lucas's passing and his strength, usually he's like, he kind of like battles on the ball. There was none of that. Literally none of that. It was just a case of, wow. We played Brighton, did very well, and since then there's been a huge decline. A huge decline. And you can't really understand why that was the case. You can't really. I mean, they should have been on a high game through against Brighton in the FA Cup, but since then, Southampton, we were an absolute shadow of ourselves. And now against Wolves, I mean, the second half was okay. I mean, we battled quite a bit. Wolves didn't really have a snifter in front of goal, and you can say that's to our credit. But chance after chance came, and then Son missed another glorious opportunity, although he was flagged offside for it. But he was literally through on goal, and somehow managed to hit it wide and high, and it was saved by the offside flag. But he didn't know it was offside. That should have been a goal. And then there was a chance there where the keeper flapped. I turned my back actually because I thought that was just it was saved. The Wolves keeper flapped at it, turned back, and I saw that they were battling. The King was battling to retrieve the ball, pass back. I think it was into Winks who had a shot, and then it just try as we might, we couldn't get the ball in the net. The second half was an improvement. Kulusevski did his bit going forward. He's only 21, so he's going to grow into it. And then Bergwijn came on for the ineffectual Lucas, and he did all right. He did all right. I mean, he had an opportunity, but wasn't much he could do later on, was there? Wasn't much really. So you had to kind of wonder what next. I mean, that was probably the worst performance I've seen under Conte, and you had to wonder where the hell that came from, because, like I said, it should have been on a high. I was getting through against Brighton. That was deemed a tricky fixture, and we just didn't. We came through that with flying colours, and then the subsequent games after that. I mean, Southampton, we saw what they did to us at St Mary's, and we probably would have battered us if we didn't go down to 10 men. And keeping 11 men on the ball, you saw how they just pinned us back and they just toyed with us. No shame in admitting that. We were just poor. And then Wolves, I mean, if it wasn't for those stupid errors, who knows? But the moment that we conceded another a goal full of stupid errors, it was an uphill task because they could just then sit back and then chill, and then just wear the game down, and we had to try and break them down. And there was some good attempts at breaking them down. I mean, Bentancur is going to be one hell of a player for us. I mean, you could just see the incisiveness cutting inside, playing the ball short, bringing the players on the opposition onto, and then trying to feed the ball through to the main strikers. It's just the case that when he does that, whoever is in front of him, when it's impossible to walk the ball into the nets, have a shot from distance, and then took until Harry Kane just before half time to have a shot from distance. I know it went high and wide, but at least he had a shot from distance, and that's hopefully put something in the Wolves' psyche that they can't just literally put a brick wall in front of us. And you had to say that was I just couldn't understand. I mean, I did hear someone on the way to the pub say that I was talking to a friend of his on the phone, saying that we got rid of all the players that he wanted and we still lose. It's literally not as simple as that. We still also have to. There's still a lot of players that played under in the last 3 years, played under the various managers in the last 3 years, and they have to be moved on in order for us to have a complete clean slate. Yes, these are the players. These would be the players that that Conte said he trusted. That's fair enough, but at the same time, we need a complete overhaul. Remember that season where I think Glenn Hoddle had left, and I think Enoch came in, and we had the manager from Lyon. What's his name? The name escapes me, but he came in with Martignolas as number 2, and we just completely gutted the team out, got rid of everybody, brought in a whole new team almost. That is literally what needs to happen now, and it is literally what needs to happen. And I know we started that process by bringing in Kulusevski and Bentancur, but we need a lot more. I mean, I'm hearing, if the rumours are true, that Gareth Bale is going to be signing for us at the end of the season. I mean, it's not been confirmed by Spurs. I'll take that route. It's just from one of those Spurs groups. But that's not really the way forward as far as I'm concerned. But I doubt it's really the way that Conte would play. But we shall see. We shall see. But it wasn't really a good weekend for the men's. But on to the women's. And there's just a light touch on the women because they played really well. I only got to see some of the highlights, and we're away to Birmingham. And since losing to Manchester United at the Leeds Sports Centre, we've gone on a good little run. And that included the game that we saw in that double-header weekend that I put together against Brighton, where we beat Brighton convincingly 4-0, did very, very well. I mean, we're now starting to score goals. That's the important thing. And Ashley Neville's starting to get goals as well. And that's a good sign as well. I wouldn't say it was a slow burner. We were just Birmingham were just very, very defensive in the first half, did very well. But then the goals came in the second half. Ashley Neville scoring again, his second goal in as many games. And then the final goal with 5 minutes to go, I think it was Rhea Percival that scored that. So we won 2-0 at Birmingham, and that puts us 3rd in the table, above Manchester United. And the plus is that the top 3 qualify for the Champions League in the women's game. But the plus is that we're only 4 points behind the league leaders, and the league leaders happen to be Arsenal. And we play them in a few weeks' time at the Emirates Stadium. Obviously, I'll be at that game. And it is an exciting time for the for the women's team, and we're doing very well in the competition. I mean, I know we're out of both competitions, out of both cup competitions, but at least it's given us now the focus on just the league and to achieve our aim. Whether the aim is to qualify for the Champions League, I know I always say that I'm not a big fan of just aiming for the Champions League, but a lot of people who know me will know that in the men's team, when we started to motor, we were playing well under Martignolas, and the aim was to try and qualify for the Champions League, because all the talk was that we never been in there before, although we were there in the original guys in 1962, but people seem to forget that. So that was the aim, and then Harry Redknapp came in, and then we managed to we got Champions League place by beating Manchester City at theirs 1-0, and Trout scoring a goal. That season I then said, okay, we've got Champions League, now we can kick on and try and challenge for the title. That never happened, which is why saying let's go for the Champions League is my biggest bugbear. I absolutely hate aiming for the Champions League. But in the women's game, because we've never done that, that will be my initial aim as well. And we're putting together a great side in the women's team, the challenge for the Champions League. And if we get that, if we secure that, then we kick on from there. That is literally what I think. Yes, we've got Champions League, that's good. But then we kick on from there and try and challenge the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Manchester City in the women's game. Manchester United haven't, I mean, they came up into the WLSL with us. Yeah, the money bags that they are pumped in all the money during the championship and pipped us to that title, because we would have had that title under our belts. So if we do get Champions League and then the revenue that comes from that, it will be good to actually go to a few Champions League games there with the women's team, and I intend to do that next year if we get that. But it's a case of holding off Manchester United now and trying to get as close to Arsenal and Chelsea as possible. But if we can pit both those sides to the title, that will be amazing. That would be amazing. It will be our third WLSL campaign, and we would have won the title already. I mean, I can't tell you how that would feel, how great that would feel. But it has to be the aim, and I know they're trying to keep it quiet, and I know that a lot of Spurs fans will just be happy just to be where they are right now and to finish where they are. But of course, you know, I am always ever the optimist, and yeah, and why not aim for the title, see where we end up. That is the plan. So congratulations to the women's team for the victory away to Birmingham. For Spurs as men, we have a lot to work out and we have a lot to think about. I mean, the next game is against Manchester City, so yeah, there is a hell of a lot to think about. And I'll be going to that game, so obviously I'll be unfortunately missing the women's game again. But I am looking to do a lot more of the women's game than the men's towards the tail end of the season, because women have something to play for. You know, aim for the title, finish in the Champions League. That's, for me, that is a good trade-off. Whereas for the men, it's literally aim for the Champions League, and you know what happens when you do that, you probably finish outside of it. I don't mind as long as it's a European place. I mean, people are saying I don't care as long as we're in the Europa Conference League. We haven't won a trophy since 2008. I ain't a picker. We haven't won a European trophy since 1984. So who am I to say I don't want to be in a certain trophy? I'll be in any flipping trophy that you know, that any competition that guaranteed that you know that has a trophy at the end of it. You know what I mean? And as long as it's officially UEFA sanctioned, what can I say? I'm all up in it. So we shall see. Manchester City this coming weekend. We shall see what happens. But congratulations to Rantz and her Spurs team, doing very well in WLSL. 4 points behind Arsenal. Congratulations again. The video for the Wolves game will drop hopefully Tuesday night, and if you're willing to watch that alongside, I mean, you'll feel the pain that I felt at the end, and so let me know what you think. Let me know how you felt about the game. I did do an aftermath video straight after the game yesterday. Let me know what you think about that. It was just literally my raw emotions straight after that game. And yeah, I mean, where do we go from here as far as Conte goes? He knows he has a lot of work in his hands. A lot of people are saying that he's seen what's happening. He's going to bail out. He won't bail out. He's never done that at his clubs. He's left because the club have not kept up their end of the bargain. That's literally the reasons why he's left Juventus, why he's left Internazionale. He was sacked at Chelsea, so that's a little different. So there's no danger of him just walking out just because we're not as good as we can. If he gets the players that he's hoping for, and if he gets the full control over the transfers like he wants, then he's going to stay, and that's the way it's going to be. So I wouldn't listen to those who are saying that he's just going to walk out, and Kane's going to walk as well. Kane missed his boat, and Manchester City missed the boat in signing him. They didn't pony up the money. That's literally it. So apparently he's going to sign a new contract. Well, I believe that when it happens. But it is what it is. Well, gone over the the 10 minutes I was hoping for, but it had a lot to say on that one. And Manchester City coming up. For the men's, it's going to be weird. It's going to be backs to the wall stuff, especially at the Etihad, where really won once in the last 7 or 8 years. But congratulations to Rantz and the Spurs team. Onwards and upwards for them. It's hard life being a Spurs fan, isn't it?